Now certainly you have a couple options here. You can choose to, here we go. You can choose to simply go to town on with your scissors and separate the scrap from your cast-on bonnet. That's the good thing with using the metal rings, is you can pretty much cut like a crazy person, and unless you really go crazy, you don't usually cut anything but the bad fiber because you're working here on the scrap. Or what you can do, something I like to do, that's reminiscent of something called ravel cord. There have been some mention on Facebook of persons buying a special cord that you just use in the first round after a cast-on bonnet. And then with that, you then would go to your scrap. And the idea with the ravel cord, as I understand, and that could just be the application name. It's not actually the product name, it's the application name. So what kind of cord would that be? It would be some kind of easily pulled fiber that you would reuse and reuse and reuse. But I don't see the point in my own use, personally. We all have our things that we like and not like. I find that if you have your yarn here, regardless of the type of yarn that you're using for scrap, if you just kind of cut on one of the legs, and you can see I'm undoing that, that's easy. And what I'm going to do here, because I'm still careful, as much as you wouldn't thought I was so far, is I'm going to cut one of the legs further down and then undo it. And so what you see there is the end, and then here is the beginning. And I'm going to try to stay on this first row, so it's really quite straightforward, and just pull on it. Now if I'm lucky, and if I don't make this segment too big, I can simply pull off, I should probably zoom out, I can pull off the string that was there, and I can just separate all that material that was connected. So basically that's what a ravel cord does. You would just pull it. I'm not sure if it works as well, a ravel cord per se, with the split rings, because the split rings offer a lot more tension. But, you know, whatever works for you. Doing it this way, and I prefer to do short little bursts anyways. If you accidentally cut the wrong one, and that you don't cut the first row, you cut the second row, it's real fun when you make it super tight. Meaning, you know, it isn't. So, there you are. I could do this faster if I'm not watching on video to make sure I do what I'm supposed to be doing right. And if it wasn't 11 o'clock at night, but that's okay. So, let's just finish this. Just wanted to show you how easy this is. This pink stuff is just some kind of acrylic that I got for free. Thank you, whoever that was, who left that free yarn at the Spokane event last year, 2018, September. I think that's where I got it. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. Oh, you know what? Actually, this was wrong. This was a gift from Susan in Mission. Thank you, Susan. All right, so this is the other way. A little bit more tedious to undo. Ravel cord people out there would be like, yeah, I just pull on it once and it all comes off. Hey, you know what? Whatever works for you, that's awesome. Please feel free to tell me if ravel cord for you works with split rings. And if it does, awesome. All right, so we can probably just pull on this bottom one, as long as it hasn't gone to the second row, and then pull on that one. Beautiful. Here we go. Boop. Now our scrap is done. It's clean. We don't do anything with it other than throw it in our pile of stuff to do later. So when we look at this, now we can do the same to this pink on the worked piece. So we want to separate where it's joining our work. So with the same idea, Be careful with your scissors anywhere time you're near your project. Really easy to accidentally cut something you didn't want to cut. Try to use your very much so contrasting yarn. Yes, my cat Polly agrees. There, we're undone. Those are just tails that can be trimmed. I just wanted to make sure I had them fully in. If you can see that. All right. So let's cut one of the tails over there on our first row, undo it a little bit. Okay, and pull. Easy. So I like to do this in small segments in case I boober and do the wrong one, because the tension is not fun to undo if you've done it too tight. So let's do that. There we go. It's so easy to short bursts. Excuse me. All right, so I'm trying to show you everything, so repetition is key. Alrighty, got the leg going. There we go. If you weren't totally prudent in finishing your stitches with just pulling the color you wanted, excuse me, what I'm saying here is we dealt with pink, we dealt with yellow. If when we were working with the yellow, we kept splitting the pink, you would find that it doesn't come out very nicely whenever you're trying to separate it. So, you know, it's not a bad thing to try to be not splitting the yarn you didn't want to touch if you're working with the other yarn, if that makes any sense. Do your best. That's all we can hope for. All right, so there, it's separated.